All right, everyone get ready because today we are going deep into some brand new AI research.
Yeah.
We are talking about DeepSeek-R1.
It's a model that's really...
And it's really making waves
Uh-huh.
because of its amazing reasoning abilities.
It's definitely not just hype either.
No.
This model is really pushing the boundaries of what we thought AI could do.
Right.
When we're thinking about things like logical thinking and problem solving.
Absolutely. And you know what the best part is?
What?
We are going to be pulling directly from the source.
Nice.
We're going to be taking apart the research paper itself.
Cool.
DeepSeek-R1.pdf just for you.
Love that.
By the end of this deep dive,
Yeah.
you're going to have a really solid understanding of how DeepSeek-R1 works,
Yeah.
how it stacks up against all the competitors, and why it's so unique.
Definitely.
So consider this like your all-access backstage pass to the future of AI reasoning.
I like it.
So one of the things that makes DeepSeek-R1 so fascinating is how it actually learns. So forget about traditional supervised learning methods, where you have to feed the AI tons and tons of labeled data.
Right.
DeepSeek-R1 is all about something called reinforcement learning,
Uh-huh.
or RL for short.
Okay, so instead of just spoon feeding it the answers, it's more like giving the AI a puzzle and letting it figure things out on its own.
So it's like trial and error.
Exactly. And just like you would reward a pet for good behavior.
Oh, yeah.
In RL, the AI gets positive reinforcement when it produces the right answers or solves problems correctly.
Nice.
So this encourages the model to continuously improve its reasoning skills.
That's really incredible to think about.
Yeah.
It's kind of like learning through trial and error, just like we do as people.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets even wilder.
Oh.
DeepSeek-R1 actually had a predecessor.
Okay.
It was called DeepSeek-R1-Zero. And get this.
Yeah.
It was built using only reinforcement learning.
Whoa.
I know, right?
That's amazing. It's a real testament to the power of RL.
Totally.
Like DeepSeek-R1-Zero was not given any pre-existing knowledge or data to work with.
Oh, wow.
It was basically a blank slate that learned to reason purely through this reward-based system.
So no textbooks, no cheat sheets.
Yeah.
Just pure, unadulterated learning by doing.
Exactly.
Wow, I'm really trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
And what's even more remarkable is that the researchers actually observed these aha moments during DeepSeek-R1-Zero's development.
Really?
They actually described instances where the model seemed to fundamentally rethink its approach.
Whoa.
Mid-problem.
Like the AI had an epiphany.
Yeah, like a sudden epiphany. That sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know.
I actually remember reading a quote in the paper where they described how DeepSeek-R1-Zero seemed to pause and reflect before it changed its strategy.
That is mind-blowing.
Isn't it?
But, those moments are a clear indication that the AI was truly learning.
Yeah.
It wasn't just blindly following a set of pre-programmed rules.
Right.
It was adapting its strategies, coming up with novel approaches, and essentially thinking for itself.
That's incredible. So, okay, color me impressed, but did this self-taught AI actually perform well?
Oh, it did more than perform well.
Okay.
It blew the competition out of the water.
Really?
Yeah. They tested DeepSeek-R1-Zero on some really tough benchmarks.
Yeah.
Including the American Invitational Mathematics Examination, or A.
Yep.
And get this, its scores jumped from a measly 15.6% accuracy to a whopping 71%.
What?
That's almost on par with some of the top-performing AI models out there.
Hold on. So it scored that high on the A.
Yeah.
A notoriously difficult math exam without any traditional training data.
It is.
That's incredible.
And that's what makes this approach so exciting.
Yeah.
It highlights just how powerful reinforcement learning can be for developing AI systems that can reason and solve problems at a high level.
Absolutely.
But of course, no system is perfect.
Right. And the paper did mention that DeepSeek-R1-Zero had some quirks.
It did.
It was like mixing up languages and being a bit difficult to read.
Uh-huh.
So not exactly ideal if you're trying to have a conversation with it.
No, not really.
No.
And that's where DeepSeek-R1 comes in.
Okay.
It was designed to address those limitations and take things to the next level.
So how did they smooth out those rough edges? Did they just cram in more algorithms and data?
Not quite. Instead of a complete overhaul, they introduced a small amount of what they call cold start data.
Okay.
Before the reinforcement learning process began.
Interesting.
Think of it as giving the AI a little bit of a head start. Just enough to refine those rough edges without compromising its ability to learn independently.
I like it.
Yeah.
So it's like they gave it a tiny taste of structured information to work with before letting it loose to learn on its own.
Exactly.
I like it. But walk me through how they actually trained DeepSeek-R1.
Sure.
The paper mentioned a 4-stage pipeline.
You're right. It starts with that initial cold start phase we talked about, followed by some reinforcement learning specifically focused on boosting reasoning skills.
Okay, and then it gets into something called rejection sampling to gather more data.
You got it. That's a clever technique for refining the training data even further. And finally, they wrap things up with another round of RL across a wide range of scenarios.
Sounds pretty intense, but clearly effective.
Yeah.
The paper shows that DeepSeek-R1 actually outperforms OpenAI's model O1-1217 in some areas and performs almost as well in others.
Right.
They specifically highlight its stellar results on complex tasks like coding math problems and even knowledge-based questions.
It's a true testament to the power of this approach.
Yeah.
And it gets even more interesting. They discovered that you can use DeepSeek-R1 to actually teach.
Yeah.
It's like an AI professor now.
I know, right?
That's next level stuff.
And what's surprising is that directly distilling knowledge from DeepSeek-R1 into a smaller model proved more effective than training that smaller model from scratch using reinforcement learning.
So it's not just a brilliant reasoner.
Right.
It can actually pass on those reasoning skills to other AIs.
Exactly.
That's a game changer.
Totally. Did they give any specific examples of this knowledge transfer in action?
They did.
How cool were they?
They found that a distilled version of a model called Qwen7b, which they called DeepSeek-R1 Distill Qwen7b, actually outperformed models like GPT-4o across the board.
Wow.
And even smaller models with only 1.5 billion parameters achieved impressive scores.
Nice.
On those challenging math benchmarks we talked about earlier.
So even a lightweight AI can become a reasoning powerhouse with a little help from DeepSeek-R1.
This is seriously groundbreaking.
It is, and it points to a really exciting future for AI development.
If we can figure out how to efficiently transfer knowledge and reasoning abilities between different AI systems, we might be able to solve problems that seemed impossible before.
Okay. And this is officially blowing my mind. I need a moment to process all of this.
Take your time.
But before we get too lost in the possibilities, I think it's time to step back and really consider what all of this means for the future of AI.
I agree. And that's where things get even more interesting. You know what's fascinating about DeepSeek-R1?
What?
It really challenges this current trend in AI development.
Oh, yeah.
Which is all about building bigger and bigger models.
It's like an AI arms race, right?
Exactly.
More data, more parameters, more power.
Exactly. But DeepSeek-R1 suggests that there might be a more efficient and effective path. Instead of just focusing on size, what if we prioritized cultivating reasoning abilities in AI systems?
Oh, that's interesting.
What if we could teach them to think more like us?
And that's where this whole concept of knowledge distillation comes in, right?
Precisely.
Taking the reasoning patterns that DeepSeek-R1 has learned and transferring them to smaller, more nimble models.
Precisely. Imagine being able to democratize access to powerful AI.
Yeah.
We could put these capabilities in the hands of more people and organizations, even those without access to massive computational resources.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
Think about doctors using AI to diagnose diseases more accurately, engineers designing safer and more sustainable infrastructure, or educators creating personalized learning experiences that actually help students grasp complex concepts.
And it's not just about practical applications.
Oh, okay.
This kind of knowledge transfer could have profound implications for our understanding of human intelligence.
How so?
By studying how AI systems learn to reason, we might gain new insights into how our own minds work.
Okay, you've officially blown my mind again.
Well, that's the name of the show, isn't it?
Touché. But seriously, this research is making me think about the future in a whole new way.
I think so, too.
If we can crack the code of AI reasoning and knowledge transfer, who knows what we'll be capable of.
It's an incredibly exciting time to be working in this field.
Yeah.
DeepSeek-R1 is a major step forward, but it's just the beginning of a very long and exciting journey.
Before we get too carried away with future possibility, let's bring it back to DeepSeek-R1 and its achievements.
Right.
You mentioned it performed exceptionally well on a bunch of different benchmarks.
I did.
What were some of the highlights?
Well, its performance on the A-Math exam was particularly impressive. It achieved a pass at one score of almost 80%.
Wow.
Meaning it correctly answered nearly 80% of the questions on the first try.
That's incredible.
It is.
The AM is notoriously difficult. I remember struggling with it in high school, and I considered myself pretty good at math.
Well, DeepSeek-R1 clearly has a knack for it.
Wow.
And its talents don't stop there. On Codeforces, a platform where programmers compete against each other, DeepSeek-R1 achieved a rating that puts it in the top 4% of human participants.
So it's a math whiz and a coding ninja.
It's a multi-talented AI.
This AI is seriously multi-talented.
And it doesn't end there.
Oh, wow.
DeepSeek-R1 also achieved impressive results on knowledge-based tasks.
Like what?
For example, on TPQA Diamond, a benchmark that tests a model's ability to answer complex, open-ended questions.
Okay.
It scored over 71%.
Wow.
That's significantly better than many other models out there.
Yeah.
Including some big names.
So it's not just good at following instructions or solving well-defined problems.
Right.
It can actually understand and reason about complex information just like we do.
And that's what makes DeepSeek-R1 so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's not just another incremental improvement in AI.
Right.
It represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of what AI can achieve.
And I think that's what makes this deep dive so valuable for our listeners.
Totally.
It's not just about learning about a new AI model.
Right.
It's about expanding our horizons.
And understanding the incredible possibilities that are opening up before us.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have!
From DeepSeek-R1's unique approach to learning and its remarkable performance on benchmarks to the potential implications for the future of AI.
Right.
But I'm curious, what stood out to you the most from this research?
That's a tough one. There were so many fascinating aspects to this research.
I know there really were.
But I think what struck me the most was the fact that they were able to achieve such incredible results using reinforcement learning without relying on massive amounts of labeled data.
Yeah, that was pretty mind-blowing.
It really challenges the conventional wisdom in AI development.
Right.
For so long, we believed that you needed mountains of data to train a truly intelligent system. But DeepSeek-R1 suggests there might be a more elegant and efficient way.
It's like they discovered a shortcut to intelligence.
Perhaps. But it's not just about efficiency.
This approach also has the potential to create AI systems that are more adaptable, more creative, and ultimately more human-like in their ability to reason and learn.
No, you really get me excited about the future.
I do.
I can't wait to see what they come up with next.
Me neither. And that's what makes this field so captivating.
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover.
Yeah.
Always another breakthrough just around the corner.
We've done our best to unpack this research paper.
We have.
But I'm sure our listeners are still buzzing with questions.
Right.
What are some things they should consider as they explore this topic further?
That's a great question. One thing to keep in mind is that DeepSeek-R1 is just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
There are many other exciting developments happening in AI research, and it's important to stay informed about the bigger picture. I encourage listeners to explore other approaches to AI development, such as symbolic AI and neurosymbolic AI, to get a more comprehensive understanding of the field.
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the hype surrounding a particular model or breakthrough. It is. But it's important to remember that AI is a vast and rapidly evolving field.
Exactly. And I think it's also crucial to consider the potential societal impact of these technologies.
Absolutely.
As AI systems become more powerful and sophisticated, we need to have thoughtful discussions about how they will be used and how we can ensure they are developed and deployed responsibly.
Absolutely. It's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do.
Exactly.
We need to make sure that these powerful tools are used for good. And that they don't end up causing harm or exacerbating existing inequalities.
I couldn't agree more. And finally, I think it's essential to remember that AI is ultimately a tool. It's up to us as humans to decide how we want to use it and what kind of future we want to create with it. We need to approach AI development with a sense of responsibility ethics and a deep understanding of its potential benefits and risks.
Well said. Those are all incredibly important points to consider. Now I think it's time to shift gears a bit and explore a truly fascinating question that arose from our deep dive into DeepSeek-R1. Remember how we talked about its ability to pass on its reasoning skills to smaller models?
Oh, absolutely. That whole knowledge distillation thing was mind-blowing.
Exactly. But here's where it gets even more interesting. What if this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh.
What if this ability for AI models to teach each other is the key to unlocking a whole new level of intelligence?
Yeah, that's a really thought-provoking question.
Isn't it?
It challenges us to rethink the entire trajectory of AI development.
Because right now there's this intense focus on building bigger and bigger models.
Right.
Almost like an AI arms race for supremacy.
Totally.
But what if DeepSeek-R1 is pointing us towards a different path? What if the future of AI isn't about sheer size, but about connection and collaboration?
You're talking about a fundamental shift in our approach. Instead of isolated AI silos, we could create networks of interconnected intelligence, constantly learning and evolving together.
Exactly. Imagine AI systems that can share their knowledge, build on each other's strengths, and collectively solve problems in ways we can't even fathom right now.
It's like the difference between building a single massive skyscraper and creating a vibrant, interconnected city of intelligent systems. Each with its own unique expertise and perspective.
And think about what this could mean for you, for all of us.
Yeah.
AI could become less of a monolithic force and more of a collaborative partner. A personalized and adaptable tool that helps us reach new heights of innovation and problem solving.
We're talking about AI that can truly augment human intelligence. Not just replace it. AI that can help us tackle the grand challenges facing our world.
Like what?
From climate change and disease to poverty and inequality.
This might sound like science fiction, but DeepSeek-R1 is a real-world example of this shift in thinking.
It really is.
It's a testament to the power of challenging conventional wisdom and exploring uncharted territory.
And it's just the beginning. Imagine a future where AI systems are constantly teaching and learning from each other. Accelerating the pace of progress exponentially.
That's pretty incredible to think about.
It is.
It's a future filled with both incredible opportunities and profound challenges. We'll need to carefully consider the ethical implications, ensure responsible development, and navigate the complex societal impacts of such powerful technologies.
But one thing's for sure.
What's that?
It's a future that demands our attention. And our active participation.
We can't just sit back and watch as these technologies unfold.
Exactly.
We need to be engaged, informed, and prepared to shape this future together.
I agree.
So, to our listeners, I encourage you to dive deeper into the world of DeepSeek-R1 and the team behind it. We've included links to the research paper and other fascinating resources in our show notes. Explore, learn, and let your imaginations run wild with the possibilities.
Because this is just the beginning of an incredible journey. And as we continue to explore the frontiers of artificial intelligence, one thing is certain.
What's that?
We're in for some truly amazing surprises along the way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of DeepSeek-R1.
It was a pleasure.
Keep those questions coming, stay curious, and be sure to join us again next time. As we continue to explore the fascinating world of cutting-edge ideas and innovations.